record that Mr. Angelieri is not here, but one of us may step out and call him because that is not like him. And so just really quick, when you go to speak, even if it's just casual conversation about a piece, please tap this rectangle on your microphone so they turn green and we can hear you. That will also allow it to be recorded as part of the recording for the record. And then you are being live streamed currently on YouTube. And then all of your names are also now on the city website as being a part of this committee. And other than that, a couple of reminders before we dive into the proposals we received. Just to recap, when we put out this call, some of the goals that were listed were to enhance the visual appeal of this dumpster enclosure and the surrounding space. This is right on First Street, so it really doesn't need to just look like a plain cinder block wall. We wanted to create a vibrant, engaging piece that fits the character of the area and complements the beach environment. And we wanted to support local artists in particular by offering a high visibility platform for their work. You were given the proposals in advance to take a look at, so we will focus the discussion on top candidates, the ones that you feel best meet the project goals and align with the criteria. And just a reminder of some of the criteria we were working off of. The main things really to focus on today will be the artistic quality and the originality of the proposals that they submitted and the relevance to the location and the community. And then, their impact and visibility, that category had the kind of photo op moment. We've had a lot of success with that on our first mural, and so that was something we wanted to see with this one. And as far as artist qualifications and experience, I did email you guys that there was a little bit of an error on our side when we were putting together the format for them to submit. And so some artists were unable to submit all of their like letters of recommendation and things like that. So as long as they submitted a portfolio, had some similar pieces ahead of time, we did ask that you just kind of check that box because that was on us and not the artist. So again, the main thing to really then look at today is going to be the pieces that they submitted and your thoughts. And tentatively, this is scheduled to go before the CRA on Monday the 24th, given we reach a recommendation today. And then we've already got a placeholder on the City Council agenda for April 7th for final approval. It will be a bit of a push, but we really would like to see this substantially completed by opening of the beaches, which is April 27th, if I'm remembering correctly. So again, I know that we're on a pretty tight timeline, but I think we can make it happen. And with that, we will turn the discussion over to you guys to kind of start talking about your top and see if any of the top favorite among you all lined up.
Okay, thank you, Taylor. Gentlemen, do you have a top out of what you ranked overall?
I do have
Just
a
start
top,
there.
Trey.
Yes, I have 5. They could be, open to suggestion.
Okay, how do we want to proceed, Taylor? Do we want to have
They
you?
aren't in order, but I could give you. I don't have any numbers, but I have.
Yeah, so if you guys want, if somebody wants to bring up, let's say one of you wants to tell me whatever your top one was, I've also got this computer pulled up and I can actually pull up on the Jotform site where they submitted and we can kind of dive into your top ones really individually and we can pull those up on the screen. So if somebody has one of their preferred candidates, let me know. I can pull them up.
Well, one of my top ones is J. Tetlack Beachcomber. I can't say it's number 1, but it's one of the something I think would work in that location.
Which one is it?
It's the graphic one with the surfboards and the different colors, and you can stretch it or
Jason?
invest it.
Jason Tetlack?
Yeah, it was number
It
18.
was J. Tetlack.
Yeah.
That I think is colorful. I just think on the dumpster thing, something like this would work really well because it doesn't have any, optical quality that would make somebody think, something was there or ride their bike into it or something.
He was also one of my top ones. I will say, solid portfolio, clear plan of materials. The only thing I didn't see a specific photo op area, which is what the city was looking for, kind of like a selfie location. And although I think I agree, it's a very strong design and graphic, bold colors. I did say that it would be a general photograph opportunity, but not a specific one. And if that's what the city's looking for, so. But he was one of my top as well.
Yeah, I agree. I like the graphics. I like the colors. I think there are various photo ops on this. I don't know if the city would allow the jacks in pink rather than the red that is the logo. But that was
Yeah.
just a small bit. But I thought on this piece, the references, the timeline, everything checked out, and so he was in my top 5, top 6 as well.
If I could go next and or unless
Or
Chad-
just throw.
Chad, my top, I want to say my top one, my top applicant was actually Sean Bono. And Sean Bono is the muralist that did the Beach Bowl, and his resume is phenomenal. And it's the vintage postcards, and they do provide a specific backdrop, but but even though the pier is a nice graphic, it's not as strong. The individual birds are a nice touch on the side. I assume that's going to be on the side, and that's quite a nice touch too. Graphically, it's clear detail. He has a clear, detailed plan and execution. He can start immediately. His resume, as I said, he clearly can do the job. He knows a lot about doing murals and his extensive background in murals, and knows how to engage and organize the community to the project.
I agree. That was one of my highest scores as well. Love the past work. Love what he's done on the bowl. Selfies for days. I like the birds and the postcard. I didn't. I thought this was a strong submission.
I agree with the postcard, and I think that really worked good. I think I took some points off on the feasibility, on the idea that the pier is like right out in front of there, and it's kind of like a lot of the airbrushing or something for the sky and the pier. It just doesn't. I mean, it almost gets lost. But I like the postcard. If I was to say something, if it had maybe a couple different eras of postcards.
Sure.
All the way around, let's say, and not the photorealistic. It seems like you could step a few, steps to the left and see that.
Mm-hmm.
That was my own thing. I think I lost points on that. But yeah, it was up there too.
If I could comment, I would imagine that he would probably be amenable to doing that.
I know. I don't think it's our place to tell them what they should paint on there.
Well, no,
I mean, submissions.
It's just a suggestion. I think you could offer a suggestion. But anyway, that's.
We're here I'm just saying that.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's etched in stone. Is my point.
That was where I lost a few points. That's why it wasn't in my top 5.
My next one was Lauren Klose, Klose, and it really it's interesting that is in one of my top, because it's actually a very simple design, example 1, but it's a very effective graphic, and it offers a specific, again, photo op that the city asked for. What I would recommend to the artist, and again, I would feel fine recommending this to the artist, is I would take those jaws and I would enhance the jaws even more and make them more 3D, make them more realistic, and I think it would create even more of a photo op and eye-catching. So I would feel comfortable making that suggestion to the artist. And And even though there's no detail given about the feasibility and execution, I feel confident. And it's a kind of a whimsical, fun kind of design that who doesn't know somebody that collects shark's teeth on the beach or has in the past or whatever. So anyway, it actually floated to the top of my picks.
Yep, that was mine. That and the number two. Can you show us number two? I mean, I think both of those work because they're very simple and colorful, and they're kind of like solid colors, not like a bunch of photographic fades, and that maybe not exactly the spot with the jaws, but both of those I think were in my top 10 at least. I think I had that one in my top 5.
Yeah, for me, I thought the shark's teeth were certainly something of the beach that, as was mentioned, that we've all done, and it's not. It's different than the wildlife that we've been seeing a lot more, and yet it's still a wildlife, right? It's
Right.
just a different. It's a different part of what do we see on the beach, and I like the selfie opportunity. Don't necessarily know if I want to weigh into how the artist is going to paint it, but I liked that. I liked that piece quite a bit, and thought it's whimsical in a way that was quite fun.
It is, and it's thinking outside the box, but it's still
On a box.
on a box.
Right, that's what
Right.
it really works because it's a box.
Yeah,
I
and
like it.
graphically, it's very, very, very well done.
And like I say, the other one, it's similar. But
I think why I gravitated to this one was simply because of the strong selfie potential, where the other one was more general. Would have
Right.
been more of a general, and that's why I gravitate towards this one. And again, I can see, and I can't emphasize enough. I can see those jaws
looking realistic.
looking realistic, looking much more realistic, darker, and more menacing. And I think it would be a lot more. I think it'd be a lot of fun. But anyway,
Yeah, I like both of those.
yep. Okay.
I think another that I would have us consider is Russell Wilson's first submission. I didn't dislike the second submission, but I thought the first one was stronger. Yeah,
Right, I agree. I think that
that
this
one. I'm sorry, that one.
this was what I was thinking that would be what would work. Is something more graphic like this. And the only thing on his, he was talking about having a real surfboard mounted on the wall or something. I think I took some points off for the idea that we have to keep it from getting stolen or climbed on. But and on the other one, he had like a sign that was up over the top that would have to be actually bolted in and stuff. And just my experience would be it would be better to paint it on the wall and then have the same with that. He was talking about the surfboard being like a real type surfboard mounted. I just think that might be asking for trouble.
Could
Versus just painting it on there would be better, I think. But I think that both of those, they weren't in my top 5 or 10, but that's kind of something I think that would work for this project.
I actually know that Russ Wilson. I mean, I know him. I've known him as a very good artist, and I loved the two examples that he gave. The two examples that he gave. I'm not as excited about the sketches. I would have liked to have seen something closer to the two examples. I don't know if you can pull those up. Is that possible? To pull up the two samples that Russ gave, that Russ submitted? I thought they were very strong, very well done, and fun, whimsical. All the things we were looking for, like that, and too, the surfing dog, and the van, and this one, the tiki. I thought these were really nice. I would have liked to have seen him submit something like this, or the surfing dog, or the one before it, because it really encapsulates. What am I trying to say? Encapsulates beach life. And the surfing dog, that's just fun. It's just silly. Um, and the other example. So I really liked the examples, but I had a little bit of a problem with the with the submission, with the proposal. I just didn't think it was as strong as his examples, and it had a general mural experience, but not a specific selfie. And then in the feasibility and execution, again, I just there was very little detail in that. In the photo op, there really wasn't. There isn't. It's a generally a nice mural. And but we know that Russ Wilson is a very professional artist. He's been an artist all his life, so there's no question about his references and his professionalism. Um, so that's why
Not in your top 10.
no, unfortunately,
No, I'm just saying that
yeah.
he could have.
Okay, another one that I'd like us to consider is Brooke Page with birds. She was Taylor on number 12.
She was. Go ahead.
I thought it might stop traffic, but the vibrant birds, kind of on different sides of the enclosure, I thought was fun. It was striking, and it caught my eye. I like the piece. I like her plan. I think there would be great selfies. She didn't have references, so I did kind of question that, and I don't know if that's her fault or ours. She could start right away. I thought it was a good submission. It was in my top 5.
Okay.
Well, on Brooke, I put the colors were great, but in the Man Away Rollin example was nice, but I don't know where I took points off. Maybe the photo op looks like it's kind of low, but I think it was kind of broke up and just I think it's definitely not in my top 10.
Not cohesive enough.
Brooke was in mine. She was in mine as well. Highly creative, beautiful design. It may lack the specific photo op, except for a general wanting to take a picture in front of them, because again they're very nice designs. The materials were the definition of the materials to be used and the timeline were not there. Feasibility. Again, there would be, I think there would be some possible interaction with the pictures because they're very strong graphically, but there's not a specific. So she was in my top 10, but
And she did provide her project overview, and I want to go back to Mr. Wilson as well. They both provided it. I don't know, somehow
you did okay.
could have
I'm
gotten
sorry I
this.
missed that.
No, that's completely okay. That could, like I said, this was the first time we've used this platform that we did, so that's why I wanted to provide a little grace to the artists, because if something appeared to be missing, likely cases it was not on them. That was on our internal team trying to put together this application format. But she did provide the materials to be used and kind of her overview and her timeline. And then I think the feasibility, I think, came up with Mr. Wilson as well, that his was not listed, and his also was. Actually, in fact, I think just about every artist did provide, but they were all kind of in different places, so it was probably a little hard to keep track of. But
Okay.
I just don't want that to be something that knocks anyone out of the running.
Yeah, I'm not sure it would change
Okay.
dramatically my picks personally.
Okay.
Because if they, I'm just not sure if it would make a difference in my top 10. Yeah, it was more, mine were more based, I mean, that was part of it, but they were more based on other factors that we took into account.
Okay, does anybody have the Jessica Bruce, the photo memory with the Polaroid? Or how high up?
The
That
which
was actually one that
she
hadn't
she
come
was
up yet. That
one of
was
mine?
in mine. Yes. And I can see maybe on the side wall there would probably be a couple more or something, but I thought something, still back to my graphics thing, something like that was, basically lines and text and not, like photos. But the problem with this, I think, is that Polaroid is kind of out of style. Nobody knows what a Polaroid is anymore, but I have to put one of those Intax cameras on there maybe.
She was in my top 10 as well. And I agree with you about the graphic quality, the design quality. I think you're right. I think that not many people are going to know what a Polaroid is, but the Polaroid coming out of the Polaroid camera on the right hand side does offer an opportunity for a picture next to Jack's Beach, and the overall design quality was really well done, and the artist can start immediately. And she's got over 80 murals to date, which shows extensive professional experience, and it's a visually striking design. So she was in the top as well. That was Jessica Bryce.
Yeah, on Jessica, I like the lines. I like the photo op that it's completely obvious, and that I think both helped her and her for me. But she can start right away. Clearly, lots of experience. But overall, in the span of other submissions, she wasn't. I thought there were stronger pieces for me.
All right, another one that's on my list was the Silhouette Surfboard. It was M. Henson, number 7. Same thing, you can see maybe my signed veteran background, but it's the same type of thing. It's more or less graphic, not something similar to that. It's only a few feet back from the sidewalk. It's non-racial. It's non-gender. It's just colorful, and I think something like that would work. You could take a picture in any one place. I don't think it would. Something like this, my first idea is somebody's going to graffiti it and put, boobs on somebody, or, if you've ever seen anybody take pictures in front of the statues out there, poor old Betty. So I can just imagine that's the only drawback to something like that. I think it might draw graffiti or something, but
That was Henson.
it's number 7, M. Henson.
Joan Henson. Mary Joan Henson. She was one of my top ones, and funny enough, I did like her strong, the realism, the realistic designs. First of all, she submitted 8 designs. I thought, number 1, it was too much like tagging, too much like graffiti, like we'd see in the Phoenix district, which is really nice, by the way. I was there last night. Phoenix Art District, that's going to be insane, what's going on in there. But there's a lot of graffiti type murals. And it seems like that, it may lead to a tagging, another, someone else tagging it or something like that, because it does happen with graffiti. So, and number 2, I didn't think was a strong enough design. Number 3 and 4 were very realistic. The turtle and the dolphin, um, even though they're realistic, and we already have a turtle mural, and I know I thought, yeah, I
See,
mean that's
for me, when I scored those, for example, I put in extra or lost points on feasibility. That's really hard to paint something like that. I'm not saying they can't do that or paint it. I'm just saying when it came to that, I took some points off because of the, and we have that on the pavilion. You know,
I would
that's
I would have to
I'm
say
just saying that's why am I scoring that particular one, and the surfer and the girl, all three of those I think the same thing. They not that they can't be painted, but they're difficult to paint for feasibility. That to make it look really nice and hold up, and then like on the one with the surfboard girl going under the water, and the other one,
that one.
I think
That one.
that's just asking somebody to go by there with a spray can and paint some boobs on there.
Number one, I don't think that we can. If an
Choose.
artist submits a design, I don't think it's up to us to say whether or not they can do it. I think we have to assume that they can do it.
Right.
I think we have to do that. Otherwise, we're going to get ourselves
Sure. I understand.
in a situation where we're judging an artist's capabilities that we're not sure of. We just have to assume that every artist can do the design that they submit. And if one proves us wrong at some point down the road, then we will have to maybe introduce some language to the submissions.
Sure. I'm just
From
saying
now
why
on.
on some of mine they didn't score as high because I know that in my
Yeah.
feasibility that's a lower score.
But I would say, and quite frankly, I would say if an artist did not complete a submission to the standards that were submitted, then we would withhold funding, and that would be legal language that would need to be submitted at some point. So if a submission was not up to the standards that were submitted for the mural, then we would hold the funds that were to be paid to that artist. It's simple as that to me. Um, I did like those because they're very strong. I assumed that the artist could do the job because they submitted it, and I just thought the visuals, though realistic, um, were strong. And I didn't know if we wanted to continue the turtle. We do have the turtle in a couple other locations, and the turtle was actually more visually stimulating. But we do have the dolphins. It's very beach. This is, I mean, that's a dynamic design. Um, and I just didn't know if we wanted to continue with that. But anyway, my point is, she was one of my tops as well. It offers a general selfie, though it doesn't offer a specific area for tourists to go up or residents to go up and take a picture. But that one or the dolphins more so than the surfer girl. I could see someone taking a picture, similar to the one at the police station and the one behind the amphitheater, just simply because it's a very nice design. But this is more compact than either one of those. So the general designs may offer a bit of a selfie. That was Mary Joan Henson.
Right, and out of her submissions, my number one out of her 8 was this number 7, the graphic looking.
Right.
On hers, mine was number 5, the bigger surfer girl. But I agree with the comments. I thought graphically nice, kind of across the board. Lots of experience. I think she can do what she's proposing, and so I don't, I'm not negative on that front. So I like the submissions.
May I just add? I would be happy with the surfer girl as well, because there are actually more girls surfing in Jack's Beach and around the area now than ever before, and out surfing a lot of the guys and moving up in the ranks in surfing and contests and things like that. So it's got a little bit of a backstory to that too, which is kind of cool. That there are a lot of girls that are actually surfing and surf the pier all the time now because they do take waves from me.
You have gray hair.
Yeah,
What you have?
yeah. Well,
Okay, gentlemen, we've thrown a lot of these out for discussion. Are there others that on your top fives that we've missed thus far?
Nope. That's all my top 5 have been discussed.
if
So I think we got 3 votes for Tetlac, 3 votes for Bono, 3 votes for the Shark Teeth.
Laura Klaus, that was the Shark's Jaws.
So that's 1, 2, 3.
Let's do this. I'm gonna just go back to the top then. If nobody has another name, if anybody has got a name you want to throw out to look at on the screen, speak now. Anybody? Any more?
So Taylor, in murals past, we
Huh?
had score. I think at this point, we're throwing around ones that all got thumbs up.
Yep.
How are we scoring from here on out?
So from here on out, I think what would probably be best to do, because I'm counting, we basically got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, basically 7 artists that you guys have thrown out that everybody has kind of thumbs up. So I think right now we kind of take one more look at each of the artists' proposals, and now that we know that they're more than capable, they all have strong portfolios, they all had strong references, resumes, you name it, they all checked all those boxes. I think now look at the design itself and how it's going to work in the space, how it's going to work on the dumpster, and then we will do like we've previously done, and we'll kind of just start kind of process of elimination from these final 7 artists. If everybody's okay with that.
All right, so I had Jessica Bryce. Did anyone else have her? I think I might have been the only one that had her.
Let's see.
No, I had her.
Terry had her as well.
I had her as well.
Okay, so she had 2.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, did anyone have the Happiness Waves?
The what?
Happiness Waves. Happiness comes in waves. That was
That was Lauren
Klaus.
Close.
number 2, maybe, or something.
Yeah. So
Klaus?
Klaus number 2.
She
The
had,
one with that's the one with the shark's teeth.
Well,
correct.
that was number 1. Did
That's her.
anybody have number 2?
I did not have.
That was
Oh, no.
Happiness Comes in Waves. Okay,
Yeah.
so that
I had-
Happiness Comes in Waves is out.
Okay. So we are eliminating then this one from. Sorry, there's a lag on the screen.
That
That
one.
one out.
That one where I
Okay.
would eliminate for me.
But we are keeping this in the running for now.
Yes.
Keep and find some fun.
Correct.
Yes.
All right.
I had that, and I think we all
I
had.
had that in my top 5.
I did too.
Okay.
Chad.
I did as well.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So all 3 originally had this in the top 5, and then
And all
what?
3. Jay Tetlack, we all 3, I think, said that in our top
Yeah.
5.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't have Sean, but both of you did.
Yes. I had Sean.
I did as well.
So that's he's 2 votes like Jessica. So that.
All right. This would be as a
how many is
reminder.
that?
That is Mr. Sean Bono on the screen. Okay.
Okay, I had M. Henson number 7, the surfboard one, and you guys had all the photographic ones. So, did anybody have the one that I had with the surfboards and the silhouettes, people walking? Okay, so
That wasn't in my top 5.
M. Henson number 7 is out because I was the only one who picked that one.
So I also had I had Chad's the surfing girl in
Number 5.
as well as a very strong graphic. So I had several of them that I liked, and I could be flexible with any of them.
Okay.
Yeah. And I could vote for them. They just weren't in my original score.
Gotcha.
Of M. Henson's, number 5 was my highest vote.
The surfer
Surfer
girl.
Girl. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I liked the other ones, but I could certainly be happy with number 5.
Okay.
Trey.
Yeah, keep it in the running, yes. But I'm saying I know on my list number 7 is out.
Okay.
Okay. All right, and then somebody had thrown out.
I had thrown out Brooke Page, the birds.
Okay, yep. And so this was, she had the narrative about her proposal to do vibrant Florida bird inspired mural featuring the northern Florida birds on the dumpster enclosure, and it's a part of an ongoing series of hers that celebrates the diverse bird species. And this is the one that had the 3 examples of the 3 types of birds. And then if you guys want to see anything, even what they submitted as examples of their work, I can very easily pull that up as well, just so you can kind of get more of a cohesive kind of look at what they're proposing versus what they've completed. We can also look at that pretty easily. So like, for example, this is one of Brooke's other murals with a bird featured.
I don't think she scored real high on mine because of the broken up, like 3 different pictures hanging on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
But she wasn't in my top 5.
So she wasn't in yours.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's 2.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So we can remove her. Okay.
All right.
Yep.
Okay. And then let's see. We also had this is Mr. Russell Wilson. He had his mural concept. For the first one, he proposed the retro postcard that said "Greetings from Jack's Beach." Each letter had a colorful style reflecting the beach lifestyle. The photo op is the longboard. And then sketch number 2 has a more collage type image that has the birds, the A1A sign, etc. So this was the first of his drawings that he submitted, which is the Greetings from Jack's Beach. And then, his other one that he submitted was this one. And then this is the one, I believe, Terry, you were pointing out his other pieces that he had submitted as his examples of his work. And that just kind of shows what he has previously painted and his style.
He wasn't in my top 5 just because of the 3-dimensional stuff and things bolted to the wall and stuff, more than the actual sketch or the design. Or I think the beach and his designs, I think, would work on that dumpster. But I think I lost scoring on his because of the idea of the
Back. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, adding stuff to the dumpster wall and putting a surfboard out there and stuff. I for some reason I just lost points on that.
Okay.
I'll repeat myself really briefly that I liked his examples better than the proposal. Simple as that. And to Trey's point, I'm not sure I feel comfortable going back. I don't mind tweaking something like the Jaws. I don't mind tweaking it, but to go back and tell them to resubmit, it's not really fair to the
It's
other
not fair.
artists.
No.
This is their proposal. I wish he had submitted one of his examples instead, but it is what it is. And so, unfortunately,
I think with that, Russell's probably out.
Okay. All right. So am I hearing remove this one from the running? Or
Yeah.
no?
If it was that one, I would have voted for it, but that's,
Sorry.
within a half a block of my house and I get to
That's
look at
right.
it anyway.
Yeah.
Because everybody's seen it. I like that. I've seen it before. And I
Yeah.
think he would do well. And the sketch wasn't the problem. I think it was just.
I would like to submit one of the examples down the road, more in that style. Tell you the truth,
Okay.
when we have other opportunities.
Okay, so were there any others that,
We have,
Taylor, do we have anything else?
There's
that
Jennifer
we need to rule
Veal.
on?
we've got,
We had Jennifer. Did we talk about?
and then this one had come up. That we had talked about the Polaroid, and as far as photo ops went, and then the previous mural examples. Come on. So these are interior walls, obviously. This was another interior piece they had done. And then again is the proposal.
Well, that experience wasn't a lot, but it's a step ladder job. So, I mean,
The experience wasn't a lot, and unfortunately, most of it was indoors.
right. But I think we can take that one out. I think I was the only one who picked that in the top 5.
And that was, remind us, that was Jessica Bryce?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Taylor, are there any others?
And then one more. We already talked about her.
Did we look at Jennifer Veal? I just want to make sure I don't
We did
miss
not.
anybody.
We did not.
Jennifer, did you have Jennifer?
We did not, but
Veal?
here is
I had her as one of the top, in my top,
this
just
is-
because it was well designed visually
yeah.
and beautifully done. Even though a realistic element, the only thing was the references, were not overwhelmingly strong, but we discussed that. So I mean, that wouldn't have made a difference anyway. It's a general photo op similar to Mary Jane Henson in the sense that it's a strong, very strong mural with a jellyfish and the fish and etc. But whether or not it lends itself to the beach theme of Jacksonville Beach specifically, I'm not sure.
This is her previous work on the screen now.
And that was very important to the city, so there were some points that were lost there for that.
Yeah, same with me. It was
Okay.
some of the artistic quality it was down, the feasibility of execution for me. And like I say, that's like 10 feet from the sidewalk on First Street across the street from Mangoes.
Right.
I'm just
Yeah, that's a fair
suggesting
point.
we have to be critical of where it is as well as what we're putting on there.
Yeah.
I think that's well said.
Okay.
So, given those comments, I would say she doesn't make. She'll not make the final. Although I thought the mermaid was quite strong.
Oh yeah.
I-
Yeah. It's a strong image,
Oh,
no
yeah.
question about it.
I agree.
All right, so, and then we did come to consensus on this, I apologize. Did we end up voting yes or no to maintain the birds? Were we going to keep this in the running, or were you guys going to take this one out?
I thought that was removed.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. I had that note, but I was second guessing myself. Okay. All right. So then what I am hearing is
Let us see
this.
the Tetlac again.
Uh-huh.
Who?
This is his.
We all three had that in our top 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is a finalist.
I think at this point the only ones that were 100% in all 3 were this one and Lauren.
Find some fun.
Mary Joan Henson. No, I'm sorry.
Signs.
No,
and
No,
fonts.
I'm sorry. Lauren Klaus.
Yep.
Klaus.
This
Close.
Ah, sorry. Having some technical glitches over here. Okay.
I just wonder where all these incredible muralists were when we were taking the application for the amphitheater, because some of those were easily as good as the artists that we brought in. But I just don't know where they were.
There was a difference between 8 or 10 feet and 20 feet and 60 feet and 300 feet.
True,
True.
true. But we've got, we do like the Beach Bowl. Sean Bono.
So I think that Mr. Tetlak, he did apply previously
he
because
did
I
apply.
remember that design,
He
and I
did.
remember distinctly talking about that design and how it maybe wouldn't work for what we were looking at that time, but maybe at another one. But I think this submission, at least the Shark's Teeth, this is the first time we've ever seen this one. She may have previously submitted, but I didn't even, that name wasn't ringing a bell with me either. But I could very much be forgetting.
I think the scope of the work was a little more credible to somebody who maybe hasn't done anything but indoor murals. Or
Okay.
I'm just suggesting it's feasible. It's flat. It's only 10 feet tall. So versus that pavilion, that was
Which is giant.
giant. Somebody had to have the right insurance and people and experience.
For sure.
They had portfolio.
For sure.
So my
And Mr. Morangi did.
Where
I thought he did a fine job on that.
Oh yeah. So now we have 2 finalists: the Beachcomber and Find Some Fun.
And then just again for reference, since we're kind of narrowing things down, Lauren, these are her, some of the examples. I have a lot of dimension on this one.
I think she has a group, so she doesn't have to work by herself.
And also this piece at an orthodontics office. That is a Jaguar. All across the whole interior. And she also submitted this, which is a whale shark.
I thought that was fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd like that on my dining room wall. And then Jason submitted. Did this house. I like that they both have Jaguars. Did this one. Yeah. It's very close to the stadium. This. Which I
His
think is a
work-
really good example,
his
similar to the
portfolio
bright
is pretty-
colors.
Pretty extensive.
Mm-hmm. And then this one.
That's a very nice mural too.
Mm-hmm.
It's very nice. If it said beach.
He's done Murray Hill and a whole bunch of other ones too. I think he's a local. He's definitely a local.
And that's
Huge.
that's Jason.
Yeah.
So we're down to Jason and Lauren Klaus.
Unless you guys, I am happy to pull up anybody else that was in the running. Any other murals you would like to see?
Well, you guys both had Sean.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we.
We already.
I thought you ruled that out.
Yeah, we had two.
Oh.
Yeah, we had two.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
Yep.
So if I'm correct, we're down to Jason and Lauren.
Yep.
And Lauren was my top pick. One of my top picks besides Sean.
Okay.
So just
I think
because
in my
again,
scoring, I think
it's
Jason
out-
was mine.
I'm sorry.
I think in my scoring and stuff, Jason was mine. So Chad, you are the.
Oh no! Yikes! I would not want to be in your position right now
See how I did that?
No,
because I like both of these a whole bunch.
Lauren was my top pick before we started talking, so I liked this one. I thought
All right.
I was this is what I preferred.
I can be swayed. I think that works great there.
And from a numbers, just how I scored it prior to the meeting, Lauren had 103 points and Jason had 100 for me.
Oh
If
wow!
that matters.
she literally had 101 and Jason had 100. I mean, it was that close. They were very close. But this was just actually outside the box that made it really interesting in the kind of whimsical graphic with the shark's teeth. And the question is, would we be comfortable asking her if she could make those jaws more realistic? Because that's very important to me.
I think that's reasonable. I mean, we've done that with the other artists, just asking for.
Yeah, just ask
Right.
to make it more realistic, to make it really pop off the wall.
Okay,
That's a great photo opportunity.
sure.
Yeah, it would really enhance. Now, I mean, I can see her saying that the elements may not blend with the other elements as much,
We can ask.
Because-
She doesn't have to say yes.
but I would, yeah, I would really like to find out if she would do that. I can understand as an artist, she may say that that it's that.
Okay. Now again, just full disclosure, just so everybody is aware. Jason is a resident of Jacksonville proper. Lauren is a resident of Ponte Vedra. When we opened the call, we opened it to basically a radius out here, much like we did with the committee selections of the beaches, communities, and Duval. So again, just to make everyone aware, she is Ponte Vedra. She is not Jacksonville Beach specific.
But Ponte Vedra is part of our beaches area.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I kind of feel like
Right.
Ponte Vedra, Neptune
Absolutely.
Beach, Atlantic Beach,
Yep.
Jacksonville,
And we did
all-
have proposals from Ponte Vedra, Neptune, Atlantic, Jacksonville, Jacks Beach. Again, just wanted to be on the record,
Sure.
making it known where.
Sure.
From reading the bios, we had everything from high school grads to all the way up to PhDs, and
Mm-hmm.
from reading the bios, we had every kind of age and people have come from other states, and people, so it was really
Yeah,
out
there
of
was
the
there
28,
was not a
there
bad
was a lot of
proposal.
variety of.
Yep.
I thought it was very robust.
Yeah.
The submissions we had were overall very strong.
All right, I'll make a motion that we vote to approve the make some fun, find some fun for the dumpster enclosure.
With the caveat that they'll suggest to her that
Right, because some of the teeth look different than the others.
yeah,
The jaws could just look more like one of the darker teeth or something.
Yep.
That'd probably be fine.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know if we have to do a formal vote.
Yes. So you have a motion, and then is there a second to that motion?
second, I'll second the motion.
Okay, and then all in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right.
Now, I think for the people in the audience, I think again, if you weren't in that top 10, this was tough. It was very, very difficult, and it was not easy. And I wouldn't be discouraged from submitting in the future because it was just, as you can tell, each mural has a different feel. And we're looking for a variety of artists. And so I would certainly not discourage anyone because they didn't get picked this time. There were a lot, let me tell you, there were a lot of artists, professional and otherwise, that weren't in the top 10.
Sure. And
For-
again, this is the first of what we are hoping per our art plan to be the first of 4 total murals of very similar size in the downtown district that we are planning to issue those calls to local artists.
4 more murals.
3 more, 4 total. So this will be the first of 4.
So there'll be
potentially.
3 more murals that you
Yep.
can apply. Now that you've seen the now that you've seen the procedure and everything, you could kind of better idea. She was one of the applicants, so I just wanted to mention that.
It wasn't easy at all.
No,
All right. So the next step then will be we will take this that is on the screen. This proposal will go to the Community Redevelopment Agency at their regular meeting on the 24th of March at 3 p.m. For approval. If the agency gives the okay and they also approve this design, that will then go to City Council on April 7th at their council meeting. Once council then approves, we will be able to issue a contract to the artist that kind of spells out the payment schedule, how this is going to work. To your point, you know, if it's not deemed sufficient, there is no payment, all that good stuff that our legal department helps us with. Once that contract is signed, the artist then may begin work. And like I said, fingers crossed, we will have substantial completion before opening of the beaches.
Taylor, are you able, because I know you're on a time crunch, are you able to reach out to the artist and acknowledge that the first stage, the first step, that they've been picked, and they can go ahead and start thinking and maybe
Yeah.
accumulating assistance or materials,
Yep.
so that once they move to the next step and the next step,
Yeah.
then they are then they can hit the ground running.
Yeah. So I will typically how this will work. I'll email or call the artist and just kind of say, "Hey, listen, you've made it through. The art committee has selected you as the preferred candidate. That's not set in stone until City Council approves entering into a contract with you. But I will let the artist know that they are the preferred candidate at this time and that what the dates are for the next.
And I hate to
approvals.
repeat myself again, but the caveat that we would like to know if you could potentially make that more of a pop feature
Yep.
on the Jaws. You know, the committee
Yep.
would like to see that
Yep.
pop, almost 3-dimensional.
Yep.
Yeah, and that needs to be a dark yellow sort of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay, Taylor, are there other items for the
We
committee to
did it.
consider?
We
today?
did it.
Yeah. Good job, everybody.
Taylor, are there other items to consider?
At this time, there are not. Like I said, this has kind of been the primary focus for the last couple of weeks for us. And then going forward, we'll kind of make sure we get all the documents executed that we need and have things in place for this artist to start. If you do not follow the city on social media and you're on social media, please follow us because we have our Take Two Tuesday videos that our communications manager does. And he and I will work together once this has started work, and we will do a nice Take Two video where we interview the artist while she's out there on site working. So that'll be exciting, and then we'll follow up with her after the fact. But we've been doing a big push, even on our social media channels through the city, to push out all these unique programs we have. And I anticipate probably at the May meeting, maybe June, we will probably have another mural for selection for one of the first restroom facilities in the downtown.
Okay, so we anticipating a meeting next month on Thursday.
Yes, hopefully so. I hope to have another update for you guys at that meeting. So
Because I had a couple other things that I wanted to touch
Yeah, do
base
we
on,
have
but I
a-
won't do
do
that.
we have a date
tonight.
on that?
I'll wait till the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
Our next meeting will be April the 17th.
Okay. If there's nothing else, then we are adjourned.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody.